Hey everyone, Steve Young from the Design Defect. And now that the SNES Classic was just announced, I think there's one game that everyone is probably thinking about. And I wanted to give you some impressions of that particular game right here, because most of you are probably aware that Star Fox 2 is the lone outlier that was never released for the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, but was actually completed. Basically, back in the day, Nintendo decided they wanted to push the hardware and graphical capabilities of the Nintendo 64, and they assumed that Star Fox 2 might get in the way of that for whatever reason. I understand, but we got footage here that might tell a different story. Now, like I said before, you're probably all very aware that you can easily download and access this game the same way I did. I won't tell you how or where I got it, but you actually can purchase the game through a modified cartridge on various websites. I don't have the links for those either, but I have played this, and I want to just tell you my impressions of it when I played through it well before the SNES Classic was released, but certainly within the past 7 or 8 months. So I've got some footage here that's sort of going over the high level of what the game has to offer, and as you can see right here, this is something brand new to Star Fox. You get to pick your character. I'm kind of scrolling through, and it looks like they do have different abilities. Maybe? No, just different items. Okay, I see what's going on there. And I decided to pick that cool-looking Sphinx cat because we don't know who that is. And then that neat-looking puppy dog with a bow. Honestly, just right off the bat, I gotta say I love the style and overall presentation of this game. It is Nintendo to a T. I can't get enough of it. I am a huge fanboy for that kind of thing, so yes, I think it's just awesome. Now, this game plays very similar, well, sorry, it plays very I was about to say to the DS version, but I wouldn't really go that far. It plays very similar to the original Super Nintendo version. However, as you can tell by that map screen that I was just on, you're kind of doing a little bit of real-time strategy. Not real-time strategy, sorry, more tactics, where you can pick your location on the map, send your ships there, and the idea is you have to intercept various targets on the map. Those are missiles or enemy ships or whatever before they can attack your home base on Croneria. So there I just took out some kind of missile or attack drone or something like that, and I see another missile over there. I'm going to head to that planet, but I've changed course and decided to intercept that missile instead because it looked like it evaded me. So now this looks like just a normal missile, I believe, and not a whole lot of action here, but I really like the concept that the game's going to be pretty much different every single time you play it, and because the missiles and enemy ships and eventually there are carriers and stuff that you can take on, they're all taking different paths every time you play, and I beat this game the first time I played it a while ago in one sitting, partly because it's short, but also, honestly, I thought the game was super cool. I could get past the sort of shabby frame rate and just kind of see through to this very interesting, very cool Super Nintendo release. One thing you'll notice, this R-Wing, if it is still an R-Wing, is a lot, well, slightly different than Fox's R-Wing and the R-Wings we're used to, and that's because of the character that I picked, and it looks like they clearly fire a different weapon and things like that. One other thing you'll notice, this character, and I think all characters in the game, they have a charge ability very similar to Panzer Dragoon and some other shooting games, and ultimately this was introduced into Star Fox 64 anyway, but yeah, I'm really struggling with this fight for some reason. I don't think it was that hard, but I think I noticed this ship in particular kept spinning to deflect my shots, and I think that's actually what they were trying to tell me to do. But in any case, yeah, so sometimes when you intercept certain ships and or missiles, or I think it's mainly just ships, you'll get a cool little dogfight like this, and it's really quick. It's a short little stage, and honestly, I think they're pretty fun. The controls are a little strange, and this is full, not full 360. You're basically just controlling it in a 2D plane, but you can turn completely around. So you can do a 360 in 2D, if that makes sense. You just can't do like a loop-to-loop, but you can absolutely turn all the way around 360 degrees. So these stages, these are where the game really starts to take shape, and you can tell where it's a very unique game. I went to some planet up there or something like that, and so here I'm going to fly around for a little bit. I think I struggle on this stage initially trying to find the targets that I'm supposed to go for, but you'll get to see very clearly I can turn all the way around in whatever direction I want. There I'm messing with the booster to slow myself down. Eventually here I am going to showcase the chicken thing. You can turn, there we go. I forget what they call this, but the tank. And control-wise, I know you're probably all wondering, in this mode the game controls, I would say, a lot like Mega Man Legends. You know, because keep in mind, this is before they were really doing a lot of 3D platforming or anything like that. And as it stands, honestly, I think it controls fine. It's not great, but, you know, with a Super Nintendo controller, what else can you do, honestly? The other aspect of that is, like, I think it's fun. I think it's really fun to control this weird little thing. And all the stages have little secrets like this that you can uncover. There you can see the power of the FX chip. Also, one caveat, even though I'm running this on an emulator, you know, I don't know how accurate it is to the version that's going to be released on the SNES Classic. So some of the frame rate hitches and just graphical glitches, they might not be present in the on the SNES Classic version of this game, but that remains to be seen. So in any case, on this stage right here, again, I struggle with this one. I have better examples of this later in the video if you want to skip ahead a bit, but you're supposed to activate some switches, and there's some interesting camera stuff going on. And a couple ways you do that are by defeating enemies, or the switch might just be present somewhere in the stage. Oh, that one was holding a switch. I just saw that. Okay, so that thing I just blew up was holding a switch, and now that it fell down, there it is. And it also looks like, you see on the radar there, I wasn't paying attention to that map at the top right. That showed me where the switch was. I could have just paid more attention to the map screen. This game has so much complexity to it for a Super Nintendo game. It is mind-blowing. It is incredible. Now, I'm about to go inside. See where it has that circle and that X. That designates that I've found one switch and activated it, and I have not found and activated the second switch. Once I go into the dungeon, that's what I'm calling it, a dungeon, the game will basically turn into what I consider a light version of Zelda in 3D. And what I mean by that is you're roaming around in a 3D dungeon and with complete freedom in your chicken walker, or you can change back into your ship and fly around. And there are puzzles that you have to solve to unlock doors to progress. There aren't necessarily keys that you have to collect, and there are no Zelda-esque power-ups. Looks like I just unlocked an extra life there. But I got a weird Zelda vibe playing this, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. after I'd finished struggling with this stage. Look at this weird enemy. So you can see again there, attached to that weird enemy was one of the switches that I need to activate. Okay, so now I'm going to activate this. Now I got a little cinematic. These cinematics, we take stuff like this for granted today, but for Super Nintendo, this is pretty insane. It's a full roaming 3D world. Like this is crazy to me. Sure, it's all flat, but we got a few more textures than we had in Star Fox. I don't know if we had any textures in Star Fox. Yeah, I think we had a few. Okay, chug in there. Okay, so now we're about to go inside here. Another cool cutscene. Tons of cutscenes in this game. A crazy amount. And I think right off the bat here, we're going to see a secret. Yeah, just off to the right of the screen. I'm going to turn around here. There was a coin, a big giant coin. There it is. I'm going to run back and try to collect that. And see how when I first came in here, it probably felt like just your standard Star Fox. Like, okay, I'm going to fly down this tunnel and shoot stuff. And I could have done that. I could have played it exactly like that if I wanted to. But I saw that coin, and I knew that I had an opportunity to turn around and go get it, so I got it. They encourage you to explore every nook and cranny. Not that there are many in these dungeons. I'm calling it a dungeon because I don't really know what else to call it. But anyway, so now here's a room. It's just to kill the bad guys. So I gotta kill these guys, and then go into the next adjacent room. Not adjacent, it's way down the hallway, actually. I'm trying to see if I can jump up on that platform there. I could have turned on the arc wing, I guess, and flown up there, but I don't know if there's actually anything up there. And once again, you got the map in real time. That is super helpful. And the door is off to the right. I just passed it. That's going to open here in a second. This is a much smaller dungeon area than some of the other ones, and potentially one of the other ones you're going to see me do here. Man, those textures, the tank treads on that was so cool. I love stuff like that in a Super Nintendo game. That is crazy. Alright, so now it sort of does kind of a Metroid thing, except I'm not escaping here. I have to go blow up the core. Super cool. So I killed all the enemies. That unlocked this door. I'm smashing in the walls. I think it's going to force me into Chicken Walker here. Yeah, I did not do that. Now, I got a power-up that leveled up my weapon here, so I just annihilated that thing very quickly. Also, you may have noticed at the beginning of the game, I put it on hard, which is the medium difficulty, not the hardest one. So anyway, another cool cinematic of me flying out of that cool base. So now, I think when I go back out to the map screen here, I'm not going to necessarily pursue any more of those missiles. Maybe I do. If it is, it's on accident. That's right, I want to get to that battleship, is what's going on. Okay, this I thought was super cool. This is when I played this, I realized, okay, this game is actually legit, and I was upset that Nintendo never released this. Fortunately, they finally decided to, and I'm super excited about that. But so this stage starts off sort of like your normal Star Fox stage. Now you get traditional Star Fox. And you can see this giant... Oh, there, I just activated a special power based on my partner's abilities. It added that extra wing there. There were actually two of them, but the other one was just off the screen. Alright, so we're zooming in on this gigantic ship. And fighting off a couple waves of enemies. And I know it didn't last too long, but now we get another cool cutscene flying into this ship. And it's Super Nintendo. I can't believe this. I'm so sad this didn't come out back in the day, but I'm really glad we get a chance to play it now. So now I'm just zooming through here. Now we got a normal Star Fox level. We'll barely miss that one. Now, if you didn't see it before, hopefully now you can sort of start to see some of the Zelda vibe I was talking about, where if you're checking out the map at the top screen, now I got a bunch of enemies that I got to take out in this room. They're all designated by those red squares. I'm struggling with the controls a little bit here, which I wish I wasn't. I don't think they're that hard. I was tired tonight, I guess, so. Take out this last guy, and we're probably going to see another cutscene for the door opening. A second here. And, you know, enemies are not the most creative, kind of nondescript, but they get the job done. Oh, so that was it. That was the whole dungeon for this one. So, anyway, now I'm going to fight another little core. Oh, this is a slightly tougher boss. Again, my gun is a little more powered up, and I'm only playing it on the medium difficulty. Otherwise, this would be a bit harder. Honestly, I think the first time I played through this game, did it in one sitting, and I did it on the hardest difficulty. I would recommend you put it on the hardest difficulty, even on your first time through. The game is just so fun, and seeing it be this easy is tough, because it's excellent. As long as you can get past the frame rate, it is a fantastic game. So the last point that I will make is but before I shut up and just let you finish watching my horrendous gameplay, is so I heard the SNES Classic was going to cost like what, $80 or something. Don't quote me on that. I'm $70-$80 something around there. And I know some people they might refuse to sort of go through the means to actually download this game, and I wouldn't blame you if that's the case. For me, the reason I downloaded this is just not to justify it in any way, but because it wasn't available to purchase through, you know, and actually support the developer, and I did want to try it because I love Star Fox 64, so I wanted to see what this game was all about. If you haven't tried it, and this is the main reason you want to spend $80 on your SNES Classic, I don't know. I want to say it's worth it, honestly, because this is just such a cool little piece of nostalgia. This was such a cool experience to me, playing through this the first time a couple months ago. I loved it, and I've played it a couple times since then. Once you get over just some minor quirkiness, because honestly what they did here is insanely impressive for the time it was released. I mean, we're just talking about controls. This is a really cool little game. It's actually genuinely cool and very impressive. So anyway, I think that's about all I got. The last thing I'll say is there's a couple phases to the way this battle plays out. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's more to it than just, you know, defending Corneria from the missiles and things like that. Like there are a couple surprises along the way, and I'm assuming, just like the original Star Fox, there are multiple endings. One last thing I want to bring up, there was one super cool level that I remember playing my first time through, where you started off above the water, and there were like boats and stuff like that, and you could actually just fly under the water, and it was a completely different experience being under the water. You could walk around under the water, and I don't want to spoil like how you progress through that level, but once again, it just felt like Nintendo sort of on top of their game, specifically for the time. But man, I was impressed. I was like, okay, it was fun for me to do even today. That genuinely fun, like that specific level. So I can't imagine how cool it would have been for people to see it back then. Like on a whole, I will just say, like straight up, this is a more impressive game than Star Fox 64. I don't know if I'd say it's better, but Star Fox 64 is incredible, and it's this deserves a spot up there with the top Star Fox games, and just sort of arcade space shooters. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Maybe not one of the best arcade space shooters of all time, but it's really good, and I love it. I think it's worth the $80 just because it's never been available elsewhere. As just an $80 game, I don't know about that, but when you factor in all the other pretty solid games that they're including on SNES Classic, yeah, to me this is kind of a no-brainer. So anyway, guys, that's it for me, and hope you enjoyed the video and me ranting about, well, I wasn't really ranting, I was just praising this game. So hope you enjoy the rest of it, whatever is left, and I will catch you guys later.